We can't be silent anymore. My grandmother lost her voice. She had her voice viciously stolen. And now, it's our responsibility to tell her story, so the world would know. My grandmother was born in France. During the war, they escaped to Brazil. After marrying my grandfather, they moved few years to Canada and then come back to France. I remember a story she told us when she was about 8 years old. She went to school with her beautiful dress and her well-done hair like every day. Except that day, she was forced to wear this yellow star on her. That day, her classmate of her called her a dirty Jew. My 8 years old grandma didn't know what it meant to be a Jew, but she was so offended to be called dirty that she got into a fight. Now, when my grandma told us this story, she was happy. She was smiling, she laughed, because that story ended when she kicked that girl's ass. My grandma was amazing. She spoke 5 languages, had a bunch of hilarious stories, and never told the same one twice. She loved life, loved people, movies, theaters, dancing, good food, great wines, and ice cream, especially ice cream. Chocolate and pistachio are her favorites. But most of all, she loved her family, her 2 sons, 4 grandchildren, and 6 great-grandchildren. My beautiful 85 years old Holocaust survivor grandmother was murdered 6 months ago by 2 Muslims in her apartment in Paris. They came in. I suppose she was sitting in her chair because she couldn't move, she couldn't walk. God's known what they did to her. What we do know is that they stabbed her 11 times. And if it wasn't enough, they burned her in her apartment. Can you imagine your grandmother stabbed, burned? Can you imagine your grandparents' house? All the memories, all the photo albums, everything's gone, ashes. Can you imagine my grandmother last minutes, wondering why? Why is it happening to her? Why did she do wrong? Why? Only because she was Jewish. Did you heard about this story? Is it the name Mireille Knoll sounds familiar to you? The first English newspaper who wrote about this story was the Algemeiner. The first English newspaper who gave my grandmother a voice was the Algemeiner. And they gave me a voice and an opportunity to be here tonight to tell her story. And I thank you for that. Israel, where I live, was found on the promise of never again. Never again. Jews will be killed for being Jews. And that's why we have the strongest army in the world. But even me, who served the IDF for 10 years, who was a captain, even I couldn't save my own grandma from judophobia. How do we make it stop? When do we get to say enough is enough? We have students get bullied on a daily basis for being Jewish. We have little children shot to death in Jewish schools. And now, grandmas being murdered in their own house. Isn't it enough already? How do we end it? We end it by telling our story, so the world will know that we have a lot of work to do. And that's why we need to support the Algemeiner. So they can continue to give us a voice, because we cannot be silent anymore.
Thank you.